Welcome back, guys. Archer's Garage. So, customer's here today, bought something to trade, and he asked me about a saw. Now, I have a bunch of them laying around, but this one Mikey gave me.
What's up?
Kind of big. It's certainly bigger than what I need, but it might be useful for this guy, this customer. And he needs one kind of right away. So I did some cleaning up. I said, let me shift some gears here. I'm going to take a look inside, guys. We're going to see what's going on with this. Let's open it up. All right, let's take a look inside. It's the Poulan Wild thing. And these were a little bit better than some of the others, a little bigger. 40cc is a pretty big saw. It looks pretty damn clean inside, guys. I don't know what could be wrong with it. Generally, it's... Oh, well, that got all messed up. Look at the wire here. Can you see it? I'm going to bring it in close. Hold on. Pretty clean. This got messed up. That's not routed. I think he said this one actually kicked. This is the better carburetor. So let's start off with doing a compression test, a spark check. Freshening it up and see if at least that part's good. Then we're going to take the blade off, the bar off, and we're going to bring it outside for a good wash. So this should be... That should be on. Yep, spark. Alright, so we got spark. Let me put this on the ground, guys. Alright, I can't do it up here. It's too big of a motor. 125 pounds. It's leaking down a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. Let's get it cleaned up. Isn't it beautiful? It's a hot looking saw. Okay, so then this one we got the customary small hose, large hose. So the large hose is going into the carburetor over here, and that's coming from the primer bulb, which looks like it's in pretty good shape. And the smaller hose, which is usually the feed, that's on this end. So what I'll do is I start off with trying to just manipulate the hose a little bit, just trying to turn it, and then once you turn it, I lubricate it, all right? Then it comes right off. We're going to blow in there real good. We'll wipe it with a paper towel, and we'll blow in here real good. We want to check the gasket. We also want to make sure that this part of the manifold is secured well, and it seems to be. And we'll check that gasket in a little bit. And I want to make sure this is blowed out before I take it apart. Zama's a very good carburetor, so we'll find out in a minute. So as usual, all right, we've got junk in the screen there. So we're going to take my little brush and do that in a little bit, but we get out. I take an acid brush and I cut the bristles down, and I go in there with my stuff, my wash. See, it's already doing a job. See, it's looking good. Okay, and the other side, we got to take this off now. So we'll get it all apart. This is a little loose.
What's going on in America?
All right.
Red flag. All these countries are putting on red flag.
Yeah, that one's a little loose too.
Because they know they're being screwed.
So there's a little bit more junk, so I'm going to blow while I go. I'm blowing while I go, because as I open it, I don't want junk going in. So progressively getting it cleaner instead of just cleaning it all at once. You don't want to clean this in a soup of filth. That's bad news. You know, so you got to keep trying to clean it, getting the junk off of it. Now let's find out if we have. I should have this diaphragm. Okay, I should have it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but we're going to replace it because on a chainsaw, there's a piece of junk in it. Yep. There's junk in it. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. But I'd like to replace it because we could use this on something where we can get to the carburetor easier. Because if for some reason or other you feel like, all right, it's not working out, well, in here it's a pain in the neck, but on like a weed whacker it's not. All right, so let me go find that gasket. But I also we're going to hose this down, and I got to pull out the jets. I have a little box that I just wrote H and L on it. So it's not just the holes. You want to look sideways and look at the size of that bump on that. This is to reduce pulsing. So it's like a baffle. But notice the bump. The size of that bump has got to match as well. All right, and then you have the right one. Now, like I said, this one's in pretty good shape. So I'm gonna dunk the original one in a little Caro, and I'm gonna put it to the side, and I'm gonna hold on to it because I can use this one. And this is the Kerosene WD. Do not. This is another diaphragm. Do not get any gum out on it. I think brake fluid works really good for a lot of things, but I still don't mess with that. Now, if you want to put a little bit of your two-stroke on that, that's fine. If it's dry. Okay, we're golden here. So what I do is I empty this out. It looked pretty good, but I use high pressure air in here just to blow it out. And then to blow the lines out, we want to use low pressure. Let's get the filter blowed. All right, it doesn't need to come off. This one's in good shape. But what we are going to do is we're also going to rinse the filter. So if there's too much oil in it, it's not going to work well. So, all right, blow it that a little bit of the brake cleaner or gum out in there, and then let's low pressure air here. Wipe this off. Now, okay. Now we got out the remaining junk, and we're blowing it outside of the tank. I like this tabletop because it's easy to keep after. And you always want to check the condition of the gasket, and the gasket looks good. I've blown out all in here. There's still some water in it. The gasket looks good. This gasket has got to be in good shape. Now you got another thing to do. There's these holes here, all right? So, you know, make sure they're clear because you'd be surprised, right? All right. Now, I'm going to start putting this back together, guys. And this is a pretty decent chainsaw, and it looks like it's in very good shape. So it's really just a quick overview of, you know, sort of freshening up your saw. It's not a lot of work to do, but it does depend upon the saw. It always depends upon the machine, because some of these machines are really hard to take apart. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but what I'm seeing, and I'm trying to get you to see it too, first of all, there's a piece of metal here, and we got to get that out. God knows what that's from. Also, the gap is super huge. Now, I'll explain why that can happen. All right. Now, what's very common with this model is, unfortunately, the screws, yep, that's loose, see? These screws go into plastic. And, well, what we need to do, we're going to have to readjust this and make sure that this can get tight. And if they can't get tight, we got a problem. Now, I have to get this clip up because we got to get it at the little slack in the wire. We'll put that clip back. There's a little clip here. Just pry it up carefully. I'm going to lay my 10 thousandths in there. Yeah, you're so way off, man. It's like an eighth of an inch. Now we're going to loosen these guys up. Yep, that one's loose too. Very common problem. Right? And this one, loosen it up. Okay. Let it suck in. And hold it. And then just tighten it up and make sure it gets tight. It's very common on this model because it goes into plastic. They don't all do that. A lot of times they put Loctite on the ones that go into metal because they don't want them to loosen up. But this will do it. This will have your timing all messed up, and it'll be a weak spark. Okay. And it's getting nice and tight. Yep. All right. Okay. So that's what you do with the ignition. Now, just give this a tap back down. All right. That's the keeper. All right. Just pull it back out of the way. Make sure there's nothing in the way here. All right. So we got to clean a plug, but we got one more thing to do. Very common. Yep. There's the compressors and everything. So we got to get the spark arrestor off, and we may want to take the whole muffler off. But we're going to do the spark arrestor first and get it clean, because that'll also mess you up. And if there's junk in that muffler, you got to get it out. Not bad. It's not bad. So all we need to do now, there's some junk in here. Okay? There's some junk in there. Now, if there's a lot of oil and junk in these any machine that's two-stroke, if there's a lot of junk in there, you're going to have to pull the muffler. Okay, so there's actually, you probably can't see it, but let me see, I got a little screwdriver, but you know, inspect your plug. There's a piece of junk in there. All right, now that could be a lot of things, but what we're going to do is we're going to clean this real good, and we're going to stick it back in, all right? Let's just try, I got some fuel in it, and let's just make sure that the primer is working. Yep. All right, I'm going to set it up on the floor, and let's give it a test, all right? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to test it. I'm going to, tune it maybe a little bit, okay? We're going to bring the idle up a little, so just to make it a little easier to kind of get going. And we'll run it for tonight for a little bit, let it get hot, and I'm going to finish it tomorrow because it's gonna need to be retested. And before we put the rest of it back on, all right, we're going to make sure we lube these. So I'm going to lube these up a little bit of oil. I'm going to put the pull. I'm going to lube up the pull starter. These do tend to get a little stuck, and actually, since I washed it, just a drop of oil on that. That's all you need. A dry lube would be better. I'm going to get some dry lube. But thing is with dry lube, though, with older parts, you need to lubricate and then first because they're older. And then you can blow off the oil and then you can add dry lube. Now, this feels pretty good, but we're going to just add a drop of oil in here as well. Remember, I did wash it. And if we can, we're going to put into the spring pocket. I'm going to squeeze a good bit of oil in there and pull it in. Okay. Because they do tend to get stuck. All right. And this goes on real easy. So we're just going to lay it like this. I'll put this on. Right. And I'll meet you guys over in the other room. And they're hard to start. So. Okay, so she starts up good. I had the brake on, and we're going to just do a quick start again, and then we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, nice. Hey guys. All right, we'll run it more tomorrow, and always a good test is get it nice and hot, do your preliminary tuning adjustment, start it again the next day, okay, or let it cool down all the way. And if you have to, make it the next day, and then start it up and run it for any of these machines, any two-stroke, then make it a little bit of an adjustment. Try not to do too much. It shouldn't need much, but it might need some. And then let it cool down. While it's cooling down, put your blade on and all that, and do a load test, all right? And if you need a final adjustment, and then let it cool down all the way and give it a cold start and see how she's behaving. If at any point in time it's finicky, you probably have a piece of crap, and it's going to waste your time. But this, you see, it restarted right away. So we'll go for tomorrow. Enough for today. It's almost 9 o'clock. I've been going since 9, and I think so far it's a good success. It's a really nice machine. It's big, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll be back. Okay guys, I'm getting ready to put the bar and blade on. So most of the time you'll feel a little lip is wear. Okay, so you can use a little grinder, small grinder, not the hard stone. You want to use a flexible stone, or you can take a nice bastard file and just run it right along. Try to run it flat. And also, you can put a small, you want to chamfer it, so run it flat. That's good. And then put a small chamfer. And that's it. Okay. So we'll do the other side. And this is a nice file, so it's not going to take me a lot to do this with a file, because this file's in really nice shape. And make sure the mounting surface is clean. I think there's some junk on it or something. I don't know what the heck that is. You get a lot of years out of a bar. Oh, all right. Oh, you get the idea. There's my air compressor. I can't help it. I need the air. All right. So you get the idea, guys. And then, don't forget a little chamfer. Just a last look. I clear it to make it a little cleaner, and so that the fingerprints don't stick right away. All right. Let's get it out of here. Thanks, guys.